Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Talk Live with Steve and Justin. Sports Live, Sports Talk Live.
Sports Live.
Sports Live with Steve and Justin. How are you, Justin? I kind of skipped the intro, which is okay. I couldn't remember the name of the show.
I'm doing all right. I thought I was tired.
Yeah, well, you were, because we were just at the club. I made lunch today, and
Put me in a
next thing
food
I
coma.
know, Justin was sound asleep. So
That was a good sandwich.
anyway,
Thank you. Thank you for lunch.
you're welcome. Welcome. Little dark in here today. Maybe I'll turn on my other light. There we go. A little
There you
better.
go.
So, New York Knicks.
about that?
Unbelievable. So, today's show is going to be the New York Knicks. We got the rabbi coming in. I'm going to let him in. He was here a second ago, and now he's gone. There he is. And we also have a soccer preview by a soccer friend. So I look forward to today's show. And you notice that Justin is wearing his.
My best Walt Clyde Frazier tribute suit.
Just remember, no matter what happens over the next 3 days, no Nick is ever better than Walt Frazier. Just like to say that for now. But anyway, we're going to let in a rabbi. Rabbi?
Oh, hi. How are you? I was just reading from the Torah, getting ready for game 3. How's everyone?
We're good. Game 3, New York Knicks. Boy, if they couldn't want to make it any worse, they have the whole area cordoned off. You can't get anywhere near the stadium. I guess they're checking for tickets because the president of the United States is coming. The mayor of New York is coming.
I heard they might
All
get Charles
kinds-
Oakley, too.
No, I heard
Ain't happening.
I heard it ain't happening. I heard that Jordan called the owner and tried to settle that a little bit, but it went nowhere.
Oh, really? I mean,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's not really the thing I want to be talking about with so many great games going on.
No.
But let
So-
Charles Oakley come to
So
the game.
Rabbi.
Okay.
So let's talk about this for a second. How is it possible that not until the final minutes of the game, in the final minutes of the whole second half, that the Knicks, or should I say the Spurs, aren't called for a foul?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, they've been called for a few, but they literally, I with as physical as they had been playing, I'm watching the game and I'm like, gosh, they're probably, bonus, whatever. Like there was with less than a minute left, they had a foul to give. With 24 seconds left, actually, they had a foul to give, which was crazy because I'm like, defense in the NBA, in the playoffs is always very physical. I'm fine with letting them play. I felt like they had some awful calls, and I mean the Mitchell Robinson technical, which they've rescinded now. It's the first time they've ever rescinded a technical from the finals.
Well, that's even more suspect.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was that was the only one the NBA was willing to own. But they were very physical in the game on Brunson in particular. I mean, Brunson had he probably had the DNA of like everybody on the Spurs. He's probably pregnant at this point. He has so much DNA. I mean, literally, like there's like he comes over half court. He's got two guys draped all over him. I mean, but they let the game get physical, which was fine.
Except they called those same fouls on the Knicks.
Yeah, it was.
They
It was
didn't let
not.
the game get physical. They let San Antonio
Yeah.
get physical and not get the fouls called.
Well, and it's funny. It's like, I mean, one of my favorite jokes in coaching is like officials every year call this big meeting at the beginning of the season. You got to go to, and you sit down, and they basically start the meeting, spend the first 15 minutes talking about no hand checks. Now we're calling hand checks. We're cracking down on hand checks this year. So for 21 years, I heard people telling me about, and I'm watching, and as the year goes, they call them early in the season. By the NBA Finals, Jalen Brunson had hands on him constantly. It was like a seance. Man, I couldn't believe how physical the game got, but I was okay with that. And actually, I think the guy who used that most brilliantly was Brunson down the stretch, but because Brunson is like the Albert Einstein of professional basketball. I mean, the play he makes towards the end, which we'll talk about a little bit later, was outrageous. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a well officiated game. The kickball with Coronet was a weird. I mean, I didn't think he intended to kick the ball on it, but
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, in that case, intent does. If it just glances off his foot and then it's not a kickball. If he intends to kick it, I mean, that's the rule book, which how you can diagnose intent in a tenth of a second by looking at a 7'2" guy and how his foot hits a ball, I have no idea. But usually that wouldn't be called a kick in that situation, so I was okay with that. I thought it was a little, but the problem was it came after a series of just well, they're not going to call that. Okay, they're going to call that. Okay, they're not going to call that. It felt a little inconsistent, but again, I think
I agree with you. But I have to.
There was a lot going on that they ignored, and then that happened,
Yep,
and it was like, all right, you got to call something here.
A few things. I mean, they really called absolutely nothing in favor of the Knicks, and I don't care what you say. I mean, there were things that I thought were technical, and that were reversed for the other team.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. Listen, everybody says the West is better than the East, whatever. To me, if I was a suspicious guy, I would say that the league was controlling the game, that they didn't want a 20-point blowout.
We knew going in that was going to happen.
With those penalties, you get a 20-point blowout.
Possible.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it's
highly possible. And not only did they not want, they were controlling the game, they wanted a fair game. They wanted to go more than 4 because they make more money, right? And everybody was in on a fix except for San Antonio because they didn't play. First of all, the last play of the game was the most ill set up shot I've ever seen in my life. And I'll just say, we saw Villanova take a last shot, what were we going to say, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, when at the last second they made the shot and won the game. Mm-hmm. There may have been a few
Carolina
Knicks
game,
yeah. So
well,
I mean,
I actually like Mitch Johnson calling that.
I'm sorry?
I thought Mitch Johnson. I actually thought his end of game play was a beautiful call. I mean, he calls the stagger screen. Mitchell Robinson thinks that Wembanyama is going to the basket, which is again in a 1-point game, you send the 7-foot guy to the basket. He's going to draw contact. He gets a great look at the basket. I mean, he got a wide open look at the basket. That's the play design. The problem is he didn't make it. I mean, like that. I didn't have a problem with what Johnson drew up. I mean, Wembanyama's got to make that shot. That's a 19-foot jump shot. He makes that, most of the time. He made a few during the game.
But even the last shot when he wasn't there, the very last shot of the game.
Oh, what's his name from Florida State? Vassell. He tried to get the thing off, and it just
but it wasn't. I mean, that should have been really set up.
Yeah,
They should have been a pass and a shot.
Well,
and it seemed like nobody wanted to take it.
Yeah. Well, his thinking was Wembanyama was going to take the shot and was going to knock it down, and that was going to be the game. I mean, the design for the play was he was supposed to drain that, with half a second left on the clock, so the Knicks didn't get it back. Because again, they could get it down the other side of the floor. But I mean, they got a great look. I mean, he should have hit the shot. I mean, usually he hits the shot. Mitchell Robinson tries to kind of come over across the screen, and he gets his feet tangled up a little bit. Wembanyama threw the flop in at the end, which I thought was a little ridiculous. But I mean, that's a shot he's got to make. I mean, this is like your star caliber player. You make that shot. I thought that was I thought the bigger problem was he has to make that shot. That's why this is the guy for San Antonio. The difference between him and Brunson, I think Brunson made a play with 9 seconds left that was absolutely brilliant. That had nothing to do with the shot, but Wembyana with the game on the line didn't make the shot. You know, I mean,
So,
it's that was by mind.
Here's my belief, and I don't know, I may have talked about it in one of those little shorts. I probably sent it to you, the little advertisement for today's podcast. So I hear Marv Albert on the Mad Dog channel with the guy in the afternoon at 12 o'clock. What's his name?
Roberts?
No.
Not Corey. I know who you're talking about.
On WFAN?
No, on
No.
Mad Dog. Oh, it's on FAN?
Oh.
Okay, on the Mad Dog channel.
No,
Serious.
Mad Dog channel.
Yeah, I'm serious.
The guy in the morning. Anyway,
Yeah.
he has. I keep thinking it's Shine.
Oh yeah, okay.
Adam Shine?
Yeah,
Adam Shine.
former
So-
fan.
So he has on Marv Albert. And they're talking about the teams, and he goes, listen, I want to say something, and I want you to listen, kind of. And you're like, okay, now this is a guy that, if you want to pick somebody that's seen every great best,
Oh, it's Marv. Yeah. Wow. Blackout.
Did we lose the judge?
The judge is gone.
Uh-oh.
Have you seen the judge? Anybody? Judge? Where'd he go?
Order in the court.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do we do? Is this a mistrial?
Well, before he comes back, I just wanted to mention Cat's fourth foul in that fourth quarter. Since we're talking about fouls, it was like a phantom call. It was just they were waiting for anything to happen that they could slightly, if the needle pointed anywhere towards San Antonio, call a foul, give it to San Antonio.
And then they
We knew going in that the officiating crew was different as well. The officiating crew was not the same crew from game one.
Yeah.
And I know that's, there's a rotating thing or whatever. But to me, it's like, how is it not the same crew on the same court and then maybe a different crew when you're on the road?
It makes sense. And I'm not sure how they do the assignments, but I would say that the crew in the first game did a nice job. It was a physical game on both sides. They ran Wembyana off the line. They were very physical with him. In the second game, the last maybe 5-6 minutes, there's a lot of bad calls. I mean,
there's a lot going on there.
Towns foul was bad, but the De'Aaron Fox double dribble was like, I guess if they're not calling everything the way they had, if they hadn't been calling that, pretty much everything all game on the Knicks and very little on the Spurs, that one doesn't stand out. But that was a bad call. I will say this though, they did in the most important moment in the game, they made a great call, which was
we get the judge back.
We got the judge.
Not yet.
Is he go? Nice jacket, by the way.
It's my best to.
Yeah, look at that. I like
endorse
that.
Walt Clyde Frazier and pay tribute to the greatest.
Oh.
Since I don't have any Knicks gear other than the hat, which I wasn't going to wear because it's too hot today. But, we knew going into game one that, I don't know if you read it, but the officiating crew that they had in game one, the Knicks were 10-0 with that crew. Or with the lead ref, whoever it was. Conversely, they were like 4-10 with the crew from game two. And the Spurs were like 10-4, 14-2. Something they had a winning record. And you have to wonder like how that transpires. How is it not relatively even maybe, but the Spurs won 62 games. So I'm not going to get too into it, but they knew that that there was going to be a problem or that there was going to be a huge difference between game one and game two, and that the Knicks were going to have to play the refs.
Yeah.
So give them credit. You mentioned, we talked about it last week about, Brunson being a finisher and him executing plays where, you said, what'd you say? It looked like an octopus. He really has put this team on his shoulders, but it's not to say that he's carrying the team over. It's just that he's making these plays where other guys that are his contemporaries, not necessarily the guys on the team, don't finish these plays, and he does.
Yeah.
So
Well, he hasn't. It's funny. Statistically, he hadn't had a great series. I mean, he was what? He was 12 for 31.
Can't hear you, Judge. Sorry, Keith.
Oh, sorry.
Interrupt you.
Yeah. Judge, you got it?
Well, no, I can't hear your audio.
The luckiest man. Face the earth. Well, no, I was going to say Brunson really hasn't had a great shooting series. It was 12 for 31 in the first game, 31 shots. It's a lot. I mean, he missed a bunch. 7 for 25 in that second game. He didn't look great, But man, when he needs to be great, he is.
Well, that and you had back to game one. You had Hart, who I joked with Mike. I texted him at one point. Josh Hart is starting to look like John Starks, and he texted me back, much smarter player, and I didn't realize at the time because I was behind the bar. He had 15 rebounds in that game.
He had probably the greatest 3-point game in the history of the NBA Finals. He scored 3 points in the game, had no points in game 2, but he had 15 rebounds.
He was a plus 22.
Yeah, 6 assists, four steals. I mean, he was fabulous in that game, and he kept doing things like Towns was in the wrong spot, and he's directing traffic and bringing guys over. Hart
Welcome back, Judge.
Huge in that.
So all this equipment, I put my foot down and turned off the power switch on the power strip. So it turned off it turned off everything. I let my foot up. It went back on, except the video roadcaster that I use. You have to reboot it. When I rebooted it, it went to all the standard stuff for the computer except the high-tech stuff. So, needless to say,
while you were gone, the Knicks, they called another technical foul on the Knicks.
So wait, let me finish my story here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to say Herb Albert. Marv Albert.
The Tijuana Brass came in.
It's the hat, right. So Marv Albert says, let me be clear. No matter how hard the league wants Wemby to be Michael Jordan, he's not. And no matter what they do, he's not going to be Michael Jordan. There will never be another Michael Jordan, he goes. So there's no way to make that happen. It has to be him that makes it happen.
Sure.
And I got that impression that the league, that the officials or referees or whatever they call them are calling fouls to kind of even the playing field. Yet here's a guy that misses big shots. What are you shaking your head at?
I'm sorry. Not you. I'm doing a little recon.
Okay. He misses big shots. And what do we know about Jordan? He never missed a big shot. And if he missed a big shot, he went in, got the rebound and dunked it.
Yeah.
All right? It was like Jordan made everybody else standing still.
Sure.
And he took players that had tons of talent and maybe first of all, he had probably the second best player in the league playing with him. Let's not forget that. I mean, Pippen was, if it wasn't for Jordan, Pippen would be like one of those big-time players. I thought he was anyway.
I agree.
And, as much as they fought during a time period and maybe stepped on each other's toes, he'll tell you right now, I saw an interview with him, and he said, no team is complete without Pippen.
Yeah.
So...
Unfortunately, the documentary wasn't edited that way. But
correct, it wasn't. But I heard an interview with him afterwards.
Yeah. No, I mean, Pippen was fabulous.
He took what's his name and turned him into an animal rebounder. Whenever he stepped out of line, he screamed at him. And you know what? You play with Michael Jordan, you say to yourself, "Dude, I gotta make this happen."
Oh,
Notice how that our screens are different than they usually are, right?
Yeah, like you're there and I'm there, but I don't know if the audience.
Yeah, it's like I think it's the new software. I think.
Oh, okay.
I mean, listen, I could change it. Let me see what I could change it to.
Yeah, it's cool.
I could change it. This is what we have. This is what we have. No, They're doing
Before
it
we
different
lose
now.
them again, you're
I was
on
gonna say,
Sports
just
Live
don't
with
pull the
Steve
plug
and Justin.
thing.
So speaking about losing it
Please
again,
like,
I just
subscribe, and share
I
with
want
your
to
friends.
yeah. Please like us on X because we're live on X, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on Riverside System. However that works, I have no idea, but they say I am. So I just want to point out something else. Last week we talked about having 200,000 downloads. This week we have 300,000 downloads. And we now have 4,000 subscribers. So I thank the both of you for making that happen. I just push buttons, sometimes with my feet by accident, and try to get it done. So
Well, thank you, Judge. You know, like, and I know I don't have 4,000 relatives, so it's it's getting out there. I mean, no, you know, I keep having people coming up to me, Rabbi, what's going on? Blah blah blah. I got invited to like 4 bar mitzvahs this week from this show. Thank you.
And I've told that Andrew Dice Clay story so many times I can't even
That was
tell
cool. That was.
you. I
that was
mean,
really
we can't
cool.
make that up. But anyway, yeah. So there's something about what's going on in these finals that doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know what to say.
That the Knicks have a 2-game lead.
I mean,
And
It still has to
and the
set
Knicks
in.
still they would have but think how many games they won in a row.
yeah, 13 now. Last time they lost was April 25th. I mean, we're in June. We're like, you know, like, I mean, I think the Mets were just eliminated. I mean, we're that deep in June, you know? So, I mean, you know, the only run I can think of like this was a 76er team that only lost one game on, you know, lost one game, you know, on their run in the playoffs, 82.
And that was Dr. J, right?
Yeah, and Moses Malone and, you know, Andrew Toney, the Boston Strangler. I mean, you know, one of the great all-time teams. Nobody's really ever done this before, though. I mean, you know, I remember that it was like a 2-1 series and the Hawks were up and like, you know, people were like, I don't know about the Knicks this year. And now, you know, and they haven't lost since. And I've never really seen anything in the NBA like this before. I mean, you know, this is not, you know, you look at this Knicks roster, they're playing great. This is not an all-time great team, though. You know, this isn't a dynasty, but this is a run like I've never seen before. So
That's only because they don't have that big player. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have that legendary player. Brunson's making himself a legendary player.
He might end up creating a new archetype for what a legendary NBA player is. Some 6'2" guy with a lot of great pivot moves can be the guy.
And making and creating a team, which this is like the anti-LeBron scenario, right?
Yeah, there's no big three. There's no putting this together with big names. I mean, they did a great job putting this team together and the payroll and everything they've done to bring these guys in there, and they're playing cohesively and unselfishly, which you rarely ever see from these teams loaded with superstars, right? These super
Agreed.
teams are selfish, and you thought maybe for a good 10 years that, you know, this is what the league is going to look like now, and this is what you're going to have to do to beat a super team is to have a big three. The Knicks just stayed the course, and you know they built this team from the ground up. And I know, you know, it's all pieces from somewhere else, but they had to give pieces to get pieces, and they made that happen. And there was no guarantee that it would work.
Yep.
And while what'd you say, April 25th or 29th?
25th, yeah.
April 25th. On April 24th, if I told you the Knicks should trade Brunson or any one of those and just come Towns and go get Giannis, I think 90% of people would have agreed with that. Now, no chance. It's completely opposite of that.
You know, Brunson is a unique player in a lot of ways in that, like, his shooting numbers haven't been great, but he makes plays. For me, the play of the game was, you know, first off, Wembanyama does a lot of great things. He's not Jordan yet. I mean, it's his 3rd season. I mean, I think there's a chance that he'll be one of the greatest.
He's not that type of player.
But yeah, I mean, you know, he's got to get a lot around him, everything like that. It's pretty amazing he's gotten him this far at this point, and they have been a great team all year. But, so Wembiana, basically, the play that everybody's sort of focusing on, where Wembiana hits Castle in the back with a pass. First of all, I've watched that play 100 times. I cannot tell you what Castle was thinking, why he just turns away. And, I think Wembiana was thinking timeout. Castle was thinking timeout. It never got called. But watch Brunson on the play. What's amazing about the play is not only does Brunson see the ball coming at Castle where Castle doesn't, he follows in, grabs the ball. But what's amazing is when he grabs the ball, he establishes possession and he sees Wembiana all 7'5" running at him, and he manages to take a little bit of contact and fall. And it really was a foul, but Brunson saw that opportunity there. When he gets the steal, some guys, Towns was there. He could have dribbled, he could have passed it off to Towns, but he saw Wembiana coming out of control and kind of rolled into him, leaned into him, and fell over, which, position-wise is a correct. They did call that one correctly, and he made one of the 2 free throws, which won the game. But that play right there, the presence of mind in a moment like that, to know to take a foul and to know how to take the foul. In a split second to change, for everything to change and for you to totally be locked in. I've just never seen a player with that kind of court awareness. He's remarkable. He's just
looked like a free safety on that play.
Yeah. He was fantastic on it. But the part where he takes the foul is just genius, because he knows that they had just burned their last foul, so now they're in the bonus. He kind of, Wembiana's not coming like he's trying to foul him, but it clearly, once he takes the contact, he rolls with it, and you're like, oh yeah, he's on the line now, and so instead of having that moment where they got to draw up a play, he's sitting at the free throw line. It was just this small moment in time where Jalen Brunson's awareness was in one direction, just at one level. And Wembiana lost focus for maybe a half of a second. When I used to coach, I used to tell people, it's not what you do, it's what you did after that matters. The thing about Brunson is, if something happens, as you were saying about Jordan, if he missed the shot, he'd go get the rebound. Brunson is always aware after the play of where to be. So he misses a shot, he's always in the right place, he's back on defense.
I think the whole team plays that way.
Yeah, I agree. And
and they hustle. We were just talking about Josh Hart and
flying into the
his 15 rebounds, but rarely do you see a player like him at that position crash the boards from the perimeter and get, rebounds and run the floor all 90 feet plus, playing on both ends of the court. It's unusual. It's atypical, especially of this this league and the way guys play. They don't run the floor that way. That guy is, talk about packing a lunch and grinding it out. He's not afraid to run the floor at any moment during the game.
Yeah.
So, but they all play like that. They seemingly all play that way.
And they get contributions out of guys like Landry Shamet is a journeyman. Landry Shamet is a guy I loved him at Wichita State. He's been a solid pro, about 7-point a game guy his whole career, been bouncing around the league for 10 years or something like that. Landry Shamet has had 13 points in the 2 games of the playoffs. Brunson just finds guys and gets them in rhythm. Towns Towns was good in the first game. Towns was fantastic in the second game. Again, hit 3 3-pointers, was efficient, didn't miss a lot, and played, the best defense I've ever seen Karl Anthony Towns has played has been in the last 2 games. And they really have all stepped up. And guys like Brunson and Anunoby are wonderful to watch because they just kind of fill in the gaps, when they need a bucket, Bridges will go get one, but it's not, Bridges will finish with 20 points. He's pretty efficient, but he just sort of fills in the space. They run the offense through Towns for the first 3 quarters, and then at the end of the game, they let the man take over, and Brunson does it every time. He finds a way to win.
One of the things that impresses me the most about this Knicks team is their ability to keep their emotions in check. They do not overreact to things the way we've seen guys in this league overreact and scream at officials. And I'm not even, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And you've seen guys that are 7 feet tall, 275 pounds of muscle, crying like babies over ticky-tack stuff. The Knicks just let it roll off their back.
Yep.
And they just keep grinding. And Towns is part of that. As big as he is, he got absolutely molested on that fourth foul and other points during the game. And if anybody was going to lose it and start screaming at the refs, he certainly has earned that right at this point. But he's not. He doesn't. This team doesn't do that.
Yeah.
That's part of their maturity, I guess. But also, that's what a championship team looks like, right? Like you have to be able to play through those things and not let it bother you, and they just keep doing that.
Yeah. For me, the best example of them keeping their cool about them is, like in game one, things are starting to go sideways. They had done a nice job pushing Wembyana off the line. Hart steps in, Wembyana missed dribbles. Hart gets the ball, and Hart's got a fast break down the court. They got numbers. And instead of jacking the ball at the basket with 45 seconds left, Hart brings it out, draws the defense, finds Brunson. Not only that, finds Brunson with the correct matchup,
Right.
and then runs a clear out play, and Brunson gets the look. I mean, Brunson again makes the shot, but Hart, keeping his cool, burns 20 seconds on that possession, and that was huge at that point. Went from a 4-point game to a 6-point game. That's all about Josh Hart. Josh Hart goes down the court and does what most people would do in that spot. He's looking for a layup. He's jacking the ball up. Maybe they score, maybe they don't. Maybe San Antonio gets it, goes back in the other direction, and cuts it to 1. Right? Hart had the presence of mind to find Brunson, find the right matchup, and to clear the floor. That's what these guys do, man. Like they're just really again, they're locked in, and they really see the floor without the same emotion a lot of teams get into. Brunson, again, the difference in that game was the split second in game 2 where Brunson realized he could draw a foul if he leaned a little bit. Where Brunson saw what was going on, and Wembyana just lost control of his head just for a half second. That's who the Knicks are. I mean, that's their margin. Their margin isn't huge. They're not a great team, but they are playing like one right now. I mean, we've never seen a 13-game run like this in the playoffs before. I mean, it's exceptional. And I think you're right, Justin. It's that coolness under pressure. Brunson is the essence of it, but all those guys really feed off that. They do not get rattled.
But let's not forget, 3 of those guys been playing together since college.
Jay Wright, the Villanova basketball factory.
and they really, and there's something about that, right? There's something about that camaraderie, the times they've done it before, the times they won at Villanova. And this coach understands the bench, which last year's coach didn't. And that bench has been incredible when guys are slow. What's his name? He had 20 points, right? Came off the bench.
Not Shaman.
Shaman had 13. Bridges had 20, but I'm trying to think who might. I'm not sure which game but they're getting guys like Miles McBride giving them 10 minutes off the bench that are valuable. There's no guy that's ever on the floor when you look at the Knicks roster, at least for the last 13 games, where you're like, oh God, they gotta hide that guy. Like everybody plays their position. Everybody sort of has finds their niche and their value out there. And Brown's done a great job bringing that together. I agree with you though, Judge. Like I think Thibodeau last year tended to lean on the starters really hard, and the bench didn't always contribute in ways that I think they could have. This team really, everybody feels like, like if they're on the floor for a minute, they're giving them a good minute, so that's what it's been. And I think, again, tonight, that's going to be a huge part of it, because I think the Spurs came out much more aggressive in game 2. They really attacked the glass. I think they're going to come out crazy.
They didn't finish.
Yeah.
They didn't finish. They had a 14-point lead and the refs in their pocket. They didn't finish.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Spurs kept coming. I mean, I don't think the Spurs team is done. I mean, no. It's I think they got to win tonight. Like they can't go down 3-0. I mean, I guess they can go down 3-0, but I mean, already losing the first 2 at home, nobody's ever come back from that. Come 3-0, it's like, then again, I don't want to bring up teams coming back from 3-0 because I know you're all some Yankee fans, and that's a sore subject. So I'll just skip on past that. But the Knicks are probably going to win the series if they win tonight. But I think you're going to see a Spurs team come out with fire in their eyes, And if the Knicks lose tonight, I mean, this is the spotlight. There's people.
How did they not come out with fire in their eyes in game 2?
I think they did. I think
Me
that I
too.
think I think in the second half they got tentative. They really came, early in the game, Wembyana kept going to the glass over and over, and it's like in the second half he kind of he got tentative. I mean, it's the first time in the playoffs I've seen him really sort of shrink away from the role, but Brunson didn't. So again, that's what made the difference. I think tonight you're going to see a Spurs team. De'Aaron Fox is playing totally banged up, but he's going to come out on fire. These guys are going to come out playing really hard. They're going to give the Knicks their best shot. And I think if the Knicks can weather
But
that,
I think they have done that. I
Yeah.
think they have given the Knicks their best shot.
They
and
might
the
be done.
Knicks and the Knicks keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, guys, we've been here before. We know what to do. And they go out and do it. And even what I find amazing about the Knicks is no matter how bad they play, they don't give up.
Yeah.
And that's what great teams do.
Sure.
Hey, come back. We can win this. They're down a handful of points towards the end of the game, and you're saying to yourself, there's 4 minutes left. Well, what happens? Spurs miss a basket. They get a rebound. Brunson hits a three-pointer. Next thing you know, they're down a point.
Yeah. The only thing concerns me is, this 13-game run has been magical, right? They've made plays every time they need to make one. I do wonder when you get a run like this, what happens if you lose a game? Like what happens if all of a sudden they blow a 20-point lead or something like that? Does that change? Does that rattle get in their head? I think the Knicks aren't likely to get rattled, but the game tonight, I mean, like I said, the cheapest seat in there is what, $12,000, and that's in the 300 section. People,
Well, it's funny, the
all
prices
eyes are
all-
on this game. So
now that the president came
Yeah.
and is going to the game tonight, all the prices dropped. No
Yeah.
joke.
Well, yeah,
Because
because
it's
people don't want to be
possible.
bothered.
They put a fence blocks around the garden. They're not letting anybody in. And everybody's got to be screened. You got to have a ticket, no handbags.
Wow. Well, actually the Knicks, I guess they don't have to do pregame interviews for the first time, so they probably are thrilled about that because they're not letting the press anywhere near the team because of this. So in a way, that might actually be a good thing for the Knicks because they're going to have people just flying at them. They usually in this situation would have a ton of people coming at them, especially this is like one of the biggest basketball stories in New York in my lifetime, right? And the amount of pressure. Kind of having that away from them, having Trump there and having something else to focus on, almost I think helps the Knicks.
It does. In my opinion, it does.
It takes a little bit of pressure off the game, which again, it's the political part of it. It's whether a president should be at a basketball game, I don't care. But again, I think it's cool. I think basketball is a big thing. Having the president of the United States there is a cool thing, whatever. But I do think for the Knicks, it actually might be an advantage because it's not the whole will they win it story completely. It's the fence, Trump being there, other things like that. That actually I think helps them a little bit.
I think the team will do a fine job of separating that moment from the game itself.
Sure.
Once the tip-off happens,
Absolutely.
they're locked in. As far as the president being at the game, I think there's a little bit more to it for us as fans, especially New York fans, living in this post-9/11 world where, as abnormal as this presidency may be, or him as a president, politics aside, there's normalcy to us as a country hosting one of our championship events, sporting events, and having the president of the United States be there, and example that it's safe to be here and it's a healthy environment for everybody. And outside of politics, we can celebrate this, and also it puts the spotlight on the men and women in uniform that protect us every day and never really get the due that they deserve. So as much as it puts more onus on them
Right.
to come to work today and be there and overtime and everything else, and all the money that's involved in Secret Service and planning this out, whatever, they get their due today, and it shouldn't go unnoticed that the men and women who serve to protect us are in the spotlight tonight, and they deserve just as much credit as anybody else.
Sure. And
So
the one thing
here's
I
the,
did hear that was weird is I heard that Trump was upset that they weren't going to let him throw the first pitch. Sorry.
So
I
here's
just had that one cheap shot. Go ahead, Judge. Sorry.
Here's a bet on DraftKings. New York State of Mind. Knicks win. Brunson has plus 30. Towns has plus 12 rebounds.
I'll take that. I'll definitely take that.
And OG has 2 steals.
You know, the ball might fall into his hand.
63 people took this because it's plus 1,300.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
a $10 bet pays 140.
That's, that could happen to any NBA player in a, being on the floor 30 minutes. Probably you can manage 2 steals. I could see that.
So here's the Shaq bet on here.
Okay.
Wemby plus 25 points. Brunson plus 25 points. Castle 6+ assists.
Okay.
And Shamet 2 threes.
I could see it.
I like the first bet better. I think you can bank on the Towns number. 30 points from Brunson. He's taking almost 30 shots a game. So, putting 30 in is not,
okay.
That wouldn't be outrageous.
So here's the Stephen A bet.
I'm hitting another bunch of threes is a little bit like, wow, it happening twice was lightning striking. So
here's the Stephen A bet. Knicks win.
Mm-hmm.
Karl Anthony Towns has a double-double.
Okay. Which he does every night, so yeah.
Michael Bridges plus 15 points.
Oh, what's the number on it?
Plus 335.
Seriously? Okay.
$10 plays $43.
I'm gonna get a box card down on that tonight. That sounds okay. Yeah, no, that I do. That the kids don't need to go to college next year. You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna take the tuition, put it into that. Actually, I love that bet. I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat as long as I didn't have to pay for it if I lost.
So speaking of all these bets and points, how do you think where are Wemby's 25 points coming from tonight? Because what I haven't seen in this series, and you're probably not going to see it because I don't know that that's his game right now. Wemby in the low post is non-existent so far in this series.
Although he had hit probably the best low post move he's had all year late in the fourth. I mean, that one up and under move was.
But why is he not? Yeah. Why is he not there all game?
It's just not his game. He's taken 21 shots in both games. First game he was really desperate to start his game, to start hitting threes early. I mean, the Knicks guarded him brilliantly in the first game because they pushed him off the line. He could never catch the ball and get a real good shot.
He was gassed at the end of the first half.
Absolutely.
In game 2. He was standing there with his hands on his hips, and he was gassed. Now, I know he had a big speech in the third quarter, and they were up and everything else, but he didn't finish. And for them to win a championship, whether it's this year or sometime in his future, he has to develop a low post game. Because otherwise he's going to be running the floor all night long, and every team is going to do the same thing. They're just going to wear him out. You want to shoot 3-pointers, big guy? Shoot them all. I'd let him shoot all day. You could stay out there all day long because he's dangerous in the low post.
30-minute-a-night player in the regular season, but he's had to the OKC series. I think he played 28 in one game. Everything was like north of 40 minutes. He played basically the whole time in a double overtime game. I mean, legitimately, his legs are probably.
What is he? 22 years old? I don't expect him to be Hakeem Olajuwon under the basket, but I have to say, if you're the coach of that team, and you're not working with this kid day in and day out to become a premier low post player, you are not doing your job. Period.
But it was interesting to see how Brown came out in the first game defensively again, because what they did really was they gave the inside to they let Wembyana come inside. They were taking the 3-point shot away. To see
they can do that with Josh Hart crashing the boards.
Yeah. It was fascinating how they really kind of, they were playing him like he was a perimeter player. And I agree with you. I mean, I think he needs to be able for stretches of the game to get the ball down low and score. He can do it and has done it. I love when they go the high pick and roll with the lob to him or something like that. But yeah, like a little bit of back to the basket stuff. I felt like he did that on that one play in the fourth quarter. It was huge. I'd like to see them do more of that tonight. He was attacking the glass. He was coming off the dribble, which is something that, at 7'5", with the strength he has coming at the basket, that's awesome. But yeah, I'd like to see him catch the ball down low once in a while. I agree with you. I mean, maybe, again, it opens up another component of his game. But because the Knicks are really determined. I mean, he took he was 2 for 9 from 3 in the first game, 2 for 6 in the second game. But they are like determined to not let him get settled in outside. So he's going to have to do something in the paint if they want to win tonight.
Okay, can I give you one more hypothetical bet?
Absolutely.
Hypothetically, someone bet 200 for the Knicks to win before the series. That was to pay 540.
Okay.
They're offering a cash out of 400.
All right.
So you
I was
double
gonna
your money.
say-
Double your money by hitting the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't blame him for taking the money and running, but I mean at this point, all indications being the Knicks going to win. You're only what are you losing? $100, $130. Yeah, you want to take the money and run and double down. Take the 200 and reinvest it on one of those parlays.
Well, and
That's what they're going to do anyway.
Yeah. Like you got to figure, like, are the Knicks gonna? I mean, Madison Square Garden hasn't been a great place historically for the Knicks. They've lost some pretty huge games there. It's kind of been a house of horrors over the years. But like the idea that
Home
they're
court
gonna
advantage is not what it once was.
Yeah.
Across the NBA.
But the idea that they're going to lose like 2 or 3 games at home is kind of hard to imagine.
I
So
think
yeah,
this is just gonna-
I ride with this. I mean, the fact that they've won 2 on the road already in this series is unbelievable to me. So I mean, and then the question is, can they go to San Antonio and win? Yeah, they can. So it's like, I can see taking a little more on that. But again, with other people's money. Because gambling is not safe, kids. It's bad for you. It's bad for your family. It ruined Pete Rose's career. Stay away. Sorry, go ahead. Let's talk more prop bets.
But he didn't really ruin his career. His career was great.
Yeah, his career was great actually.
Ruined his legacy is what he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and what he did to his teammates by lying to them after them having gone to bat for him for the Hall of Fame is really what soured everybody else.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think the commissioner handled it properly from Jump Street. So
I'm looking back at my old bets and I see Kennesaw State on here.
Did you bet on Kennesaw? Did I talk you into that one? My apologies.
No, it was during the NCAA. I paid him out of the gate.
All right, cool. Yeah.
So I wanted to mention.
I was gonna say, with all the stuff that happened with Kennesaw State with gambling, though, we probably shouldn't mention that.
So
this hasn't been a good year necessarily for searches that have gambling and Kennesaw State in it. So,
anyway. Here's another one: Brunson plus 20, Wimby plus 20, Towns plus 20, Fox plus 20. I think Fox screws you up.
What are the odds on that? What does that pay?
Plus 900.
Wow. The Fox is legitimately hurt. For that to happen, for all those guys to get 20, you got to have a very high scoring game. I mean, Wembyana's going to have 20. Brunson's going to have 20.
8,000 people bet that.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, but the thing with Fox is like I have no. I mean, he's a good big game player. He's really hurt though. I mean, he's got no burst. I mean, literally, he can't push off his. He's got
okay.
Here's
Another one. Brunson 3 3-pointers.
Yeah, okay.
Champagne 3 3-pointers. Anobi 2 3-pointers.
Okay.
Vassell 2 3-pointers.
Yeah, not impossible. The Brunson one seems like, I mean, he's only hit 2 in both games so far, but I mean, at home he'll knock a few down. Yeah, when you start to get into OG, I don't know. It's like who knows how many he's going to take. It really, a lot of that stuff, those prop bets are hard because it's like a lot of it's based on the flow of the game and and what's available. So that's again, it's like flipping a coin.
So I wanted to give you, where is it? Brunson Burner. Brunson plus 30 points. Brunson plus threes. Brunson 6 assists plus. Brunson 4 rebounds.
Oh yeah, that's a what are they giving you? Plus 200 on that or what?
Plus 850.
Really? Oh yeah, okay, no, definitely, yeah. This week's
Now, when it
paycheck.
says 30 plus points, does that mean 30 gets it, or you need 31? I don't know that.
I think it's. I think yeah. If I was going to say, did they have it at 30 and a half or 29 and a half or something
No,
like
they
that?
have
it
30
traded 30?
plus.
That's interesting. It might be that. Yeah. I mean, what's the rule usually on a parlay? If I forget. Yeah. I'm trying to. I don't know. Like prop bets have such weird rules sometimes, but I think on certain type of parlays, if one, I don't know. I'm not gonna explain it right.
Here you go. Empire sweep.
Okay.
Knicks win. Yankees win. Liberty win. Pays plus 645.
I don't know. What do you think?
And
Yankees
the
this
Liberty's
year?
playing Connecticut. So Yanks are playing Cleveland.
Okay. Oh, I thought they
Who's
meant like
pitching?
World Series.
Yeah,
No.
who's pitching? I don't like them all.
I don't know. I don't trust anything.
Oh,
So
cross pollinating the sports and the prop bet.
Yeah, that's weird too. You know, it's like
I have.
especially because the numbers get all like messed up. Like when they do that, when they have those bets where you can bet like football and basketball and like change teasers or whatever, and you can change it around.
well, it's okay if you're in the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
In basketball. You know they're going to win if they can win.
Yes,
In the regular season, you don't know what they're going to do. You don't even know who's going to play.
absolutely.
Right.
I wouldn't touch the NBA. College is for me. College is much more fun to bet because everybody's pretty much what you're going to get out of every team every night. In the NBA, like you might find out 10 minutes into a game somebody's going to play 20 minutes who you thought was going to play the whole game. So who knows?
I like raising my hand. I found this button.
That is cool. I noticed that. I thought we were going for like high fives or like something like that, or like we do fist bumps or.
Can do this too.
Oh, nice. Are you guys going to actually talk about soccer after me?
Yeah.
What, Justin? You got something growing out of your head? What is that? Oh no, I thought you made that happen. It looks like something.
Yeah, it's the lighting behind me. I didn't check my lighting. That's the Yankees baseball bat cup. It's sitting right under the light, so
Yeah.
it looks like a spike. I look like a unicorn
So
coming out of my head.
So yeah, no, it's a good look for you though. The unicorn
Thank
thing.
you.
The
Is that better?
yeah, totally. So the
Slouch.
soccer thing. You guys are really going to talk about soccer like on purpose?
We could do this too. Ready?
Yeah.
Really good, right?
Yeah. God, that makes me feel better. Just like more off here. I like that. Yeah. I know it's weird when it cuts out. I like it. Oh, I need one of those following me around all the time.
Mark is probably waiting, like, what the hell are these guys do?
Well, no,
Nah,
but you're
he
going to talk
can't
about
see us.
soccer. Like, I didn't think you guys covered
He can't
Marxism.
see us, can he?
I don't know.
We're
I'm sure
gonna
he's
do-
watching.
Oh, we're gonna just do a preview.
Well, but like,
Dude,
is
good for you.
soccer invented by Karl Marx, or is that a rumor?
It's a
I
good
heard that.
rumor.
No,
I like that
that's
one.
a-
There's
that's
a
just
whole
a rumor.
international communist conspiracy based around soccer, and like,
That's a whole nother podcast, Keith.
didn't the Soviets win it like 37 times in a row? And like, like in Cuba won it one year, then North Korea won it, and like, isn't it like fully a communist sport? I've heard. Is that true? Or
No comment.
didn't I heard Joseph Stalin actually scored the game-winning goal against Peru one year? I don't know if that's true, but
That was
again,
the hand of God, wasn't it?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that. No, I think the World Cup is cool. It's weird though. I don't know anything about it. I just know that the Belgians dress in orange, so I root for them. I just never.
So the
I don't
best thing I like about Marx is that he breeds all this stuff. Yet he married Jenny von Westphal, whose father was nobility. They were aristocrats.
Yeah, and whose
Shocker.
son was Paul Westphal, who used to coach the Phoenix Suns, played for the Suns for
Correct.
years. No, I'm not. He's not Karl Marx kid. I just was rolling with that.
Grandkid.
But actually, 50 years ago on the 4th was the game Paul Westphal was involved in. That was the I sent you guys the Garfield Hurd game. the triple overtime game in Boston. So that was, and again, so Paul Westphal, who was Karl Marx's grandson, had one of the big plays in that game that sent it to triple overtime. So yeah, Judge, I never thought you'd start a sentence with the thing I love about Marx.
Neither did he.
Yeah.
Well, I read all that stuff, right? I read it, I read all Marx, and because I studied the law, I'm a law and society major, and I studied all that crap. So I could, if you wanted to have so what I'm doing this podcast on our other podcast, History's Agenda, and the guy starts talking about, he did remote viewing, and he talks about that he went back to some ancient Samaria where it was the Code of Hammurabi. And I'm like, dude, I'm the only guy that could ever do a podcast with that actually studied the Code of Hammurabi.
Yeah. I think, I don't even think Hammurabi studied it. I mean, I that was, but so I remember actually, I think I've listened to that. That was the guy, the remote viewing guy. That was kind of fascinating, actually. Are you going to do like a straight Marxist podcast? I mean, I want to go on the Marxist podcast and can I come on?
I'm not going to do a Marxist anything.
Okay.
I don't,
Well, you're doing soccer. You're halfway there. You're a fellow traveler at this point.
That stuff needs to be dead and buried, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
Socialism and communism does not work. And any government in the past that has tried it has failed.
Well, but except the World Cup keeps going.
Time of death 5:57. We went 10 months and 57 minutes without talking about politics.
Okay,
but now that you're bringing soccer into it,
it's not politics.
Doug, this is America, man. Capitalism. We don't have
Poor
soccer.
Mark. He's going to come in on the edge of this.
I'm totally ruining his lead-in. Sorry, dude.
You're watching Sports Live with Steve and Justin. We're talking with the Rabbi Keith Spillett from the collegebasketballtimes.com and, of course, the American Basketball Hall of Fame. Keith, what's your prediction on tonight's game?
Pain. I'm going, Knicks 109.
Everybody
Spurs
wins.
91.
They're gonna bring out, it's gonna end after 3 games. Everybody's going to win, and everybody's going to get a trophy.
I'm good. As long as the Knicks are part of that, everybody's going to win, because I'm not waiting another 56
Everybody
years.
wins. We're not keeping score. Everybody wins.
I'm good. Listen, if everybody's got to win for the Knicks to win, I'm okay with it. Just, my God, the Knicks need to win. If we're here next week and it's 2-2.
I want to know what Yankee fan sold his soul to the devil. The Judge had to go on a 6 weeks for hiatus with a phantom injury, mysterious injury, for the Knicks to win a championship this year. I know somebody made a deal with the devil out there.
Entirely possible. I've made several over the years. It's been very, very profitable.
Come on, Rabbi.
Hey, you're
all
right. L'chaim.
Rabbi, it's been a pleasure.
It has been.
Thank for all your kind words, and we will see what happens tonight, and we'll see you back next week to talk about how the Knicks won the finals.
Absolutely. Can't wait. See you guys.
All right.
See you in 2 weeks.
Am I supposed to put you out, or are you going to go out on your own?
I don't know. I don't know how I can't leave. Usually the music comes up, but now because it's not, I don't know what to do. Help.
I think you can X out. Do you have the X at the top left?
I'm trying. I'd say, I don't know.
Or maybe it's a...
If I don't get out of here, I'm gonna have to talk about soccer. Oh God. Hi, Angela. All right, I'm gonna X out here. I think I'm gone now. Goodbye. No, wait, that's wrong. I'm sorry. Well, God, I'm sorry. I'm like the guest that can't.
I mean, they changed the software.
They messed me up.
It used to say, "Here's how you get rid of them." But I don't see it. Listen, I can block you, which I guess I'll just leave it at that, and bring you back. But I'm gonna block you. See you later, Rabbi.
L'chaim.
Log out.
Good night, Rabbi.
That was cool. He's gone. You ready for Mark?
Sports Live with Steve and Justin. We're
Please like and
transitioning from
subscribe.
talking to the rabbi. Please
We're going
like
to talk
and
a little
subscribe.
bit about the World Cup. And we're going to let Mark Leonard come in and Justin give you a little intro when I hit it.
Ah, there he
he's
is.
There.
My man. Can you hear us?
How are you?
I can hear you.
Very good.
And
So
we
you're
can hear
watching
you. How you
Sports
doing?
Live with Steve and Justin here on YouTube and X Live and all those other places you get your podcast from. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Our next guest hails from Virginia, good friend of mine from the Lyceum, Mark Leonard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Am I a good volume for all of you?
Yeah, you're great.
I can hear you just fine.
You look great and you sound great. What is that, a D15 in back of you? A D35? What is that?
It's not a D15 or a 35, but I've got an inherited classical from my aunt Linda, and the other one is not a Martin. I will keep that one under wraps, but we'll own one of those at some point. So
I just sold my D41.
I got to start out. I'm disappointed that the rabbi is taking off and running on me. I mean, after that entrance,
because
my father would absolutely love him because he sounds like the guy that will absolutely not let the truth come between him and a good story.
Sometimes he gets so off topic, and I bite in, and Justin tries to bring us back, and I just don't let it happen usually. So I have to admit, soccer is not my first subject. I do have a friend that was a professional soccer player for, I want to say, Portugal or Spain or something. But I don't think he would really like to talk on the podcast. So we're glad to have you because you can tell us a little bit. Well, I know that. Listen, I know that they're groups, and I know that the World Cup starts on Thursday, right?
That's right.
So maybe you can give us a little background of what the heck, like what, because we never talk about soccer. Of course, Americans are idiots and they don't know anything about soccer on the whole.
Well, I mean, World Cup soccer is a different animal altogether.
Right. So you can maybe explain to us a little bit about the process here and work from there. Can you do that?
Sure. I thought I'd jump in a little bit and just say, first of all, so the World Cup goes back to 1930, and things have changed a little bit since then. The process of getting there and how that functions and works changed many times. But ultimately, it's this version is going to be the largest version of the World Cup. There's going to be 48 teams that play. And they're all divided into groups of 4, so there's 12 groups of 4, and each one of those groups of 4 will play each other. And after they play each other, the part that me as a purist doesn't love so much is that there's going to be 32 teams that make it through that. So only 16 are eliminated after 3 games. After 16 are eliminated, now we have a 32-game tournament. Win your game, move on, lose your game, go home. And so that's kind of the structure of it. There's always very good teams from South America. There's always very good teams from Europe. I'd say that the rest of the world seems to be catching up somewhat. Morocco 4 years ago made it to the semifinals. Turkey has been pretty successful in some other tournaments. But the United States had kind of maybe some of our best tournaments, 94 when it was in the United States. But there's it's a different situation. I love it, not only because it's the world coming to play. And so the U.S. hosted its first tournament in 1994. We'll host again this year. But it's amazing. You have all these countries, these different storylines. They play different styles of soccer. The way the game is played. I mean, one of the things that you were all talking basketball is there's a few teams, world teams, and I think the U.S. team, I kind of share this idea this time around for us. We've got some decent players, and we came out, we just played last weekend against Germany, which is, there's only 8 different teams that have won the World Cup, all those World Cups. So Brazil has 5 championships, Italy has 4, Germany has 4. Argentina was the winner of the last tournament in Qatar. It was held actually in the wintertime. France has 2, Uruguay has 2, England and Spain each have 1. So
Wow.
even though there's been so many tournaments, those are literally the countries that have won the World Cup. You know, and my one friend, I told him I was going to be on this YouTube show, and he's a big Italian fan. I know Justin is in Italy, a big Italian.
Team Italy all the way.
And I know Justin loves, you know, the beautiful game, the world game of soccer. But this tournament maybe is about the teams that are here, but there's one team, unfortunately, that's won 4 world championships in the World Cup that's not here, and that's Italy. And it's a very unfortunate situation because they have great soccer players. They always put out a great product on the field, which is exciting to watch, except maybe back in 1990, 94, the game would seem a little bit different. But there's been a playoff in Europe, and Italy has been ousted the last 3 times in their final game. They needed to beat Sweden 8 years ago. 4 years ago, they needed to beat North Macedonia or Macedonia. And then this time they got ousted by Bosnia-Herzegovina. And so Italy is not going to be in the cup, which to me is upsetting. But my friend has said to me, oh, but their under 17 teams have been in 8 championships. And I mean, they're coming, they're up and coming, you know, but this is a guy that says he's 6 foot and he's 5'9". So, I mean, I'm not sure what to believe.
How many teams compete for those first 48 spots in this tournament?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Lots,
You're stumping me on that one. I would say, I mean, I would think that there's probably, you know, over 150 countries that are under 180 countries that are competing in the opportunity to play.
How long is the tournament?
South America is one region, you know, North America and in Central America is another region. Europe is kind of its own region. Africa is another one. So I'm very, very excited about it. I went to 9 games in 1994. I'm scheduled right now to go to 6. My 2 daughters are playing in a tournament in Portugal right in the middle of the tournament. So I will kind of be away in the middle of the tournament and come back. But I'm super excited. It starts this Thursday night with a game in Mexico. North America's hosted. Canada has some games. Mexico has some games. And then there's venues in the U.S. One of my very good friends is going to see the U.S. Open against Paraguay in California on Friday night. Should be an unbelievable situation. Paraguay hasn't been in the tournament for 16 years. My friend sent me a video. Their entire national stadium was completely packed with the craziest fireworks show just to send their team off.
Wow.
It is a big deal. I'm very excited that team's back in the tournament. I'm a U.S. fan. I'm hoping for a U.S. victory, but that team's talk about fighters and a lot of grit. They will never give up. You were talking about the Knicks. I love that, and I think my favorite play that you guys didn't talk about was when we were up, I think by like 9 or 10, and the clock was running down. But we had players driving into the lane, kicking out, driving into the lane, kicking it out, and every single player touched the ball and made that 5th pass, I think, 6th pass. And nailed a 3-pointer with about a second left on the shot clock. I thought that was it.
Yeah, that play is circulating online everywhere.
We gave up such a lead, and like you're talking about, they weren't phased, and they went out and went to work. My son was losing his mind. He thought it was going to be over. And I said, this team is unbelievably composed, and it ended up working out. So,
well, it's funny. I went to school in Italy for a year. I don't know, about 30 years ago. And there was, I'm at the university and I hear this roaring crowd. And, I walk around, I look, and I finally get to where I could see. And there's like this gigantic stadium of these teams playing in Italy, totally packed. Crowd roars every 3 seconds. You had to go check it out. And that was my first realization of how popular football European football is in Italy.
Here's a pretty good stat for you. I will definitely invite you if you'd like to come, both of you, either to a game at the Lyceum or at my home. We'll get some food going, watch a game. The last Super Bowl had 101 million viewers.
Wow.
The last World Cup final had 1.5 billion viewers.
That was a monster tournament too, because that was Messi won. Argentina won, right?
Messi won the World Cup. It was unbelievable.
I think the whole world was rooting for him, to be honest with you.
Oh, I
So what was
watched
so
that game.
incredible?
Yeah.
And I after that, he came to Miami, and I took the subscription just to watch him play. He's something to watch. And
That's great.
And it got even crazier because they would break out every time Messi touched the ball during a game. And afterwards, if you wanted to see it again, you would go click on it, and all you would see was every time Messi touched the ball. Nothing else.
Well, what was so great about the last final, in my opinion, first of all, it was unbelievably exciting. It did end in a 3-3 tie, went to penalty kicks, which to me isn't the greatest of endings. However, I think you saw one of the best all-around soccer plays, all the way from the very back end of Argentina's defensive third, and you saw just beautiful play. The ball comes up, the ball gets pushed out wide, the ball goes forward, the ball gets crossed, the ball gets finished. It was unbelievably unselfish. None of those players took too many touches on the ball. It was a counterattack like a fast break in basketball, and it was just pure joy to watch. The way that game fit and that play right there was one of the best World Cup moments on the biggest stage in the final. So that was a joy to watch, and it was great to be there. And so that was a really phenomenal situation.
We're talking with Mark Leonard. Mark is a former soccer player himself. Was it your high school team that won the Metropolitan? Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, I played on a club team that originated in my hometown, Annandale, Virginia. Shout out to the Adams. And by the way, Sleepy Hollow is like the only place I've ever seen that has a better mascot. Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman is unbelievable mascot.
It's hard to beat that mascot when he comes riding down on the football field on the horse.
But I grew up in Annandale, Virginia. Totally know where I came from, who I am. That's my home. So I grew up a Washington sports fan. But I played on a very good soccer team, club team in Annandale. And my coach was British. And we, fortunately, when I was 16 years old, we won a national championship. So you have to win your state. We played our state tournament in the fall, and it was great. My team was unbelievable. We won 4 championships, state championships, and then you go to the East Coast Championships, which were in Niagara Falls, and we won that against all the northeastern states. And then
that's pretty impressive. I mean, I would imagine the competition gets harder as you go along.
It does. My brother and my father are probably the two most, we come from a sports family, but my brother Keith was a professional goalkeeper for the Washington Diplomats. And he won a championship with the Washington Diplomats, which was fantastic. And so he's certainly reached a higher level. He played at University of Virginia, which is where many, many players that I have met and known played with my brother Keith. And the hotbed of soccer, there's a tremendous hotbed. New Jersey is an unbelievable creator of great soccer players. New York has some as well. I'm in Westchester, and Claudio Reyna and Gio Reyna, his son, are from this area. But New Jersey has some great players, as Virginia does as well, I feel.
I grew up in New Jersey, and my school soccer was really big. And matter of fact, when I was a kid, I was lucky enough to go see the Cosmos, and I saw Pelé play. So I mean, doesn't get any better than that, right?
Unbelievable.
Cosmos.
Yeah, that was amazing. Amazing.
Mark, how
which direction you want to take? I've got a lot of myself personal World Cup stories.
I want to get back to Italy for 1 second, just because we were talking about the level of competition increasing as you go along in these tournaments. Has Italy's World Cup team or national team, I guess you'd call it, has the level of talent in Italy fallen off? Is there a lack of youth programs in Italy that influences that, or has the rest of the world caught up to South America and these European countries that seem to dominate the sport?
I don't believe that Italy's talent has dropped off. I think that the talent is certainly in the country. And my friend would say that they have an unbelievable youth programs, which they do. But when those players are hitting the ages of 16 to 20, maybe they're in Italian soccer and they're languishing in the second division or the third division and not developing up and beyond. If there's players that's starting to happen in the U.S. more often than not now, players in the U.S., there's relationships now between European clubs, South American clubs. And so much of the sport now, if you look at it, when I grew up, hey, I could watch professional soccer on TV if I held the antenna and tuned into channel 56 so I could see snow all over it. And it was called Soccer Made in Germany at like 4 or 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And that wasn't being watched because we were watching American football with a clear screen or semi-clear.
Right.
So the fact that we can watch sports worldwide now, any sport we want, and we can watch any league we want, we can watch all the games. I mean, look at the NFL. I mean, you can watch games every night of the week, it feels almost, right? Soccer's the same. And so there is, I'd say, an upswell of so many of the people that, different ethnicities in the U.S. can watch their teams at home, and now second and third generations are playing the sport. I don't think it's going to change, but what's different is the money in the United States is in basketball. The money in the United States in baseball. The money in the United States in the NFL. So I don't see as many 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds. If they're chasing that, they're going to go into those other sports. But some of their families, there's huge pride in soccer, and it's all over the world. It is the most popular sport. But you talk to people that are from India, which is an incredible amount of people. They're still cricket people. We don't talk about that in the U.S. much.
Yeah. Soccer athletes seem to be incredibly different from other professional athletes. They're incredibly well conditioned. I've been to Yankee Stadium to see the NYFC team, NYCFC, and I actually, we had really good seats. We were on the field, and just the sheer speed of the game and the endurance that these athletes have at that level, I would imagine these World Cup teams are at the same level or better. Is it that what separates a world-class athlete in soccer from, say, a world-class athlete in football or basketball?
So I'd say I've coached a lot, see a lot, talked a lot, and was also a teacher and educator. And I've got children of 9, 11, and 12 years of age right now. And I was coaching my son and still coaching all of them loosely. But there are many different things. I mean, the Brazilians in the early 50s started really working with flexibility. And so they were doing some things. And they play an unbelievably creative game. It is absolutely the national sport. And so, but when you get to the highest of levels, like the rabbi was talking about the wherewithal of Brunson to make that contact occur, and literally to make probably 3 or 4 decisions in the matter of a split second. Oh, I see somebody looking back, and he just realized that the ball was in the air, and that player was running up the court as if he thought Wemby was going to bring that ball up the court. So he's moving the opposite direction to steal that pass, but then there's contact. All those split-second decisions happen so fast in a soccer game, just as they do in any sport.
Yeah.
The thing that's so nice, I think, about a soccer game and the sport of hockey is that flow of the game continues. If it's an aggressive game end to end, it doesn't stop. It continues, and there's so much transition back and forth. there are
That's
some
one thing that I can't get over when I watch that game in person. And
yeah,
I've gone a few times now. Is we talked about Josh Hart before, running the floor all 90 feet and rebounding and end to end, he doesn't stop. But in the soccer field, you're talking about over 100 yards back and forth for some of these guys
yeah,
from end to end, and it's 90 minutes nonstop. I mean, I know they get
it is.
halftime, but
It is
they're
sometimes.
incredibly well conditioned athletes. Their
Yeah,
endurance is tremendous, and I would imagine the dedication that it takes to play that sport at an elite level is as much as any other sport. Because
I
to
had
run
a
like that for 90 minutes straight, I mean, that's got to take some serious athleticism, but also some mental fortitude, I would imagine.
sure. Well, I mean, you build your skill set, right? And I think a lot of times the youth, one of the things that's hard is they're so focused in winning sometimes. It's not. It's more important to build your skill set, right? And so if you're building your skill set, then when you're in that situation, hopefully your mind can keep up with the game. That's the second one. But if you think, I mean, Judge, if you were over in Italy, I'm not sure if you can understand Italian, but if you're paying attention to the press there, or the press in England, or the press in Brazil,
oh yeah.
I mean, if you think the U.S. press will excoriate people for mistakes, etc., and we have tons of them, whether it's baseball and you gave up the winning home run, or for the Yankees fans, things that happen in Boston, um, there's things that happen in soccer and that are horrible too, and you can never live them down in those countries forever.
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah.
same. They're high level athletes that are incredibly trained. One thing is a little different about soccer is, hey, some of the best players in the world, most exciting players, Diego Maradona from Argentina was incredible to watch. Lionel Messi from Argentina, spent his time cutting his teeth and getting better at the sport in Spain. But some of them are very short. And you could, the ball's played on the ground. That's where the ball moves the fastest. That's where people control it the best. And so some of the players, it doesn't necessarily always matter your height and size.
Unbelievable. I had a guy that was, when I was in high school, we had a coach. He was a former Brazilian player for the country of Brazil. His legs were like nothing I'd ever seen in my life. He was a short guy, but all muscle. His legs were gigantic.
Until
watch-
Saquon Barkley came along.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he would do things with a soccer ball, like, because, when you're a kid, you think you're amazing. And these kids would be like, and every once in a while, he would remind them what real soccer players do, and destroy them. He usually didn't. He usually was just teaching fundamentals, but every once in a while, he would get in it and do something amazing with the soccer ball that left your mouth hanging over.
Well, think about that country, Judge. You got Brazil. Okay, they're into volleyball. I'd say they do a lot of that, whether it's on the beach or not. They're starting to get pretty into basketball, but everybody wants to grow up to be a professional soccer player in Brazil. And so you're taking your best gifted athletes, and that's usually who's going to end up at the top, cream of the crop.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So there's a documentary coming out on Netflix. It's called FIFA Uncovered, and it's going to talk about, I think it's 2002 and the IOC and some of the FIFA scandal. Andrew Jennings is the reporter that investigative reporter that really uncovered a lot of this and exposed a lot of this. And I know that I don't know how many years ago it is now, but he was instrumental in kind of exposing the corruption in some of these places between the Olympics. And I don't know how much of it carries over into World Cup soccer, because I know it's a different animal altogether, but it seems to be the same people at the head of these organizations. How do coaches and players at lower levels and fans of this game, how are they able to navigate that and still have interest in this sport, knowing that the people in charge are most likely ripping them off at some level, but also what they're watching may not be on the level?
Well, there's already been some Netflix. There's already been a Netflix documentary about the corruption in soccer, and I'm not sure. It's with many things. What are you going to believe? There's been NBA referees. There's been NBA point fixing situations talked about. It's happened in Italy with referees in England, and then you're talking about the highest levels of possibly bribery and corruption, supposedly going on in the Caribbean with national teams, etc., and money being pocketed here. I think it comes down to, so my family was at, my children they play for a club called New York Soccer Club. And we had a fan fest thing yesterday. It's the end of the season in the spring. And so all the kids get to go there and the parents go there. We have pizza and ice cream and music and things like that. And at the end of the person speaking. And so some of them, are, for the most part, the organization, it's just talking about bringing people here. And regardless of what happens, you've got to love the game. And it's all about those children there having fun. And so are there some things that I think many people in this country are pretty upset about? Yeah. The ticket gouging is going on for sure. FIFA's certainly probably adding 48 teams, not just out of their goodness of their heart always. But yes, it's great to have a larger tournament. But there's more dollars involved. If there's more TV, there's more games. My kids are into the sticker books. We got to fill out 48 teams this year instead of 32, right? The subway to the Meadowlands was going to cost from the city. It was going to charge $150 a ticket from the subway in the city to the stadium. Now,
so what is up with that?
It's crazy. I mean, it's costing New Jersey maybe a ton of money to run the subway for all those, or run the path or New Jersey Transit, but people are angry and frustrated about it. I mean, I made a financial decision. Hey, I said to my wife, basically, when we were dating and getting engaged, etc., I said, look, if the World Cup's ever in South America, just to let you know, whatever happens and whatever's going on, I'm going to be there. Well, we flew with my brother, came and visited us, but we flew with my son on his first birthday. We arrived in Brazil. And so it was amazing. Wow. But there's price gouging going on. I mean, there's tickets for sale for the final right now that are more than $1 million. I don't know if they'll get it or not, but look at the next game. It's tough. Who can afford to go to that game? It's my thing. It's one thing I will definitely pay. I want to see it. I love the game. I want to be there live. I've seen unbelievable moments. If there's any Colombians that are watching you, I was in the stadium in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro when one of the greatest goals was ever scored by James. I was in the stadium in Washington, D.C. when who they call the Pele of the desert from Saudi Arabia took the ball like 65, 70 yards, dribbled through like 4 Belgian players and finished it off. It's amazing. I'll never forget that. I want to translate that passion to my children, and I love the game. Long answer there. Sorry, Justin.
No, don't be sorry. I think it's great insight.
Perfect to say. I think the one thing about I think the one thing about it is soccer in the stadium. No matter where you are, I mean, other than really far away, you could see the whole game. You could see how it's played. You could see the ball. You could see everything. And it's one of the things that complain Americans have where it's hard to watch on television. I don't find it hard to watch on television, but some people do.
Well, it used to be. And hockey used to be tough to watch, too, because you couldn't follow the puck.
Hockey used to be tough.
But now with high definition, sometimes you see more than you want to see, right?
Correct.
You can do that. And I mean, hey, I'm a person. Do I want to see goals? Yes, 100%. But I've seen my son play in a 0-0 soccer game that, to me, who appreciates all these little nuances of the game, hey, the general public in America, I don't think is up for a 0-0 game. Just the same thing in baseball. People that love baseball can love a pitcher's duel that's 0-0 and great defensive plays.
Yeah,
and people that basically turn a triple play or a double play, somebody doing something in the hole and turning it, it's incredible. I can appreciate that, but I don't necessarily know if the entire U.S. population appreciates that. But more and more and more of them are becoming more appreciative of that, I think.
So you were at the Rose Bowl for the final in '94 between Italy and Brazil. That was a 0-0 game. That was a shootout that finished that game. I believe Brazil won 3-2.
I am, and one of the best players for maybe a generation in Italy, Roberto
Roberto
Baggio.
Baggio.
He put one over in his penalty kick. It's tragic.
Yeah.
I don't, he's got to live with that. That's a tough scenario. There's a
I'm
player.
trying to
from
remember where
Brazil-
I was because I definitely watched that game. I think I was home for that one. I was at my cousin's basement for '98. That I remember. That was Zinedine Zidane hit with the headbutt.
Zidane had the headbutt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest difference now in terms of pricing? How much more? I'm not going to ask you what you paid for your tickets, but you mentioned that you were going to you've attended a lot of games previously,
Yeah.
and now we've got these games here. You're slated to see how many games?
I'm slated to see 6.
Okay, that's a lot. I mean, geez, that's a lot of matches. So, how would you compare the pricing now to what it was then versus in terms of affordability?
So when you're putting in, I was putting in for the best possible seats this year. And those games could have ranged from basically anywhere from, I want to say the least expensive tier 1 seats. I think they were $500 a game. There might have been a few games that were $400, but now there's dynamic pricing, etc. And I think those games went from $500. I think the U.S. game I didn't put into it because they open and they're playing in California, and I just can't work it out with my kids and schedule, etc.
Yeah,
Of course.
But $500 for a family. I'm 5. They would only let you put in for 4 seats, and so that's $2,000 to go to a game, right? When I went to 9 games in 1994, I think the final was cost me maybe $350, and I was there with a few people, and so but I think the regular seats were maybe $120, $130, and I had a group of tickets, and I sold pretty much my opening round games to Mexico and Italy. I went to that game also, but sold some, and it kind of financed and funded. I was a school teacher at the time, coaching American football and soccer, and it kind of funded things. But what's different now is the sophistication of the secondary market now.
Yeah.
It's not going to a game.
StubHub and SeatGeek and yeah.
It is all those different things, and FIFA is selling all these, top tier level things that can, cost. I mean, I don't know how high it goes up because it's not something I look at. But when I put in for my tickets, and we considered, I was going to put in, possibly my wife put in, they could just charge your credit card immediately if you get them all. I got denied in the lottery a few times, and if I couldn't put my wife and have her do it also, because if we would have gotten all the tickets, it would have been $100,000.
Yeah, wow.
But we got some, thankfully, and my family's going to see it, and I'm really excited about it. And I guess I kind of hold my nose and say it is tough. They didn't do maybe enough things. There's articles written about different ways tickets are priced, and there's a lot of different things that happen in different sports where it gives greater accessibility, maybe, and how I think the article I think I read it said the U.S. Open does a great job of different levels of how people. New York City Marathon too, on how people can be involved in that, and different ways you can get into the marathon. So,
is the tier level pricing based on who's in the match? Is it based on where you're sitting, or do the stadium's amenities play a part in that too? Like I know Yankee Stadium has, legend seats, for instance. Are some of these soccer stadiums, and I'm assuming they're playing in places that they're not all built for soccer, right? Some of them must be other, stadiums that host other sports like football or baseball.
All the stadiums I'm seeing a game in are Philadelphia, Atlanta, the Meadowlands, and Foxborough, right? Gillette.
Okay.
All 4 of those stadiums play football.
Yeah.
The U.S. opens in SoFi Stadium. But one thing that is nice is, and it doesn't matter what the sport is, whether it's baseball, soccer, or football, I like to see natural grass, right? I don't like to see turf. So all those fields are going to, every World Cup game is going to be played in turf. At natural grass. All the turf will be, either covered or removed. But there were problems.
Right.
Copa America was a soccer tournament that was here the other year, and players were complaining about it. A coach from Uruguay was pretty fired up in the press, and You know, it kind of gets ignored in the U.S. press because it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal.
I'm sure it is.
So,
I mean, it's big business.
yeah.
We're talking with Mark Leonard here. You're on Sports Live with Steve and Justin. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Mark, what are you most looking forward to for this World Cup?
I mean, so my son was a year old, and he's the oldest of my three children when we went to Brazil, and he was with us for a lot with my wife and my brother. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna share a game with my sister. There are gonna be 2 games. I'll be with her, Laura. I'm gonna be a game with my sister and my oldest brother Jeff. You know, he forwarded a 60 Minutes article with me to me about Lamine Yamal, who's they're saying kind of like maybe the Messi replacement from Spain. He's considered one of the best or one of the top 5 in the world right now. So sharing that with my family will be amazing. I'm going to be at 2 games with my brother Keith. So we're going to be seeing Norway, and my mother is Norwegian descent. And so I'm going to be able to see Norway in the Meadowlands. Norway plays Senegal. And I'm going to come back the next day. Or I go to Atlanta to see Spain play Saudi Arabia. I fly in. My wife's going to take me to the game in the Meadowlands to see Norway play Senegal. My brother and my nephew are going to spend the night, my brother Keith, and we're going to take a road trip to Foxborough to see the game the next day. So it's going to be amazing to relive all those times. My brother Keith and I were at the final together, and we went to the quarterfinal again with Sweden beat Romania in Santa Clara, and watched that game and rented a big, huge, like 1970 something Lincoln Town car and drove down the Pacific Coast Highway. So for us, it's a family thing. It'll be amazing, unbelievable memories. And then there's always moments. Thank goodness, I think soccer's changed since the late 80s, early 90s. Fans really demand in the effort, and like you're talking about, running from end to end. Yes, it's very strategic. There's some teams that are going to sit back and play a little more defensively. But we're going to see some games that are absolutely phenomenal. I think the best World Cup I've ever seen was the last one. And I want the U.S. team. They have got a lot of great players. I want them to get out there and get after it, and let's see what we have.
Yeah.
Paraguay is that way. They will get out and they will play. They sit back and they're hard-nosed. But there's some teams I feel like just say, here's what we've got. We're going to go as hard as we can, as best we can here and there. We're never going to slow down. And if we get beat, we get beat, right? But I want to see what we have. I'd love to see this coach just let them out there and let them go, because we got a lot of great players.
That's a tough first game for them, right, Paraguay?
Paraguay is the first game. I'm so excited. My favorite player on the U.S. team is the left back. He plays for Fulham in the Premier League in England. His name's Anthony Robinson. In that game against Germany, he hit he's a left fullback, but he's a tremendous wing player. So he goes all the way forward on the sides. I love what he does. He has great vision of the field. He plays very dangerous balls behind the back of the defense. But man, he hit it in one of the best goals I've ever seen a U.S. team player score. It was a corner kick, and it came out, and he just crushed it. And that happens. And so my favorite player scored an amazing goal. I hope he's got a couple more for me this cup. We got a lot of players, though. They got this guy, Tyler Adams. It's incredible. We truly have a forward. His last name's Balogun, and he's a striker. He plays in Monaco. And he scored in a very tough league, the French league. He scored in 8 games in a row. And so we've got some players on the field. There might be some little gaps. I'm a little concerned about our central defense. We are we have a little age there, and we have an injury from a player, Chris Richards, who also plays in England. So a lot of our players are playing in Europe, and maybe they're overplayed, some of them. It's causing injuries, but I'm super excited to spend time with the family and friends. This Friday night, I'll be with probably, 15 to 25 people at a friend's house that decided he would host, and then I invited another friend and his kid, wife and child. And so he's like, "Hey, it was great. Thanks for telling me that I have to host the party, Mark, and then you invite some more people."
Shit happens, right?
4 years ago, it was Messi just absolutely took over this tournament. I know Neymar's a big name in soccer these days. some of the usual suspects are aging out of this sport. Who would you say is the most premier American player right now? And then who in this tournament from any country is a name that we should watch out for that you think might take over this tournament?
So I'm not sure. From a U.S. perspective, I'd say what I believe probably to be the most sound, strong player. It plays a position sometimes. His name is Tyler Adams. He has tremendous vision, and his thought is ahead of most people's. So many times he's doing something on the field, and many people would never even notice it because the camera's not on him, or he's doing something behind the scenes to put himself in a position defensively so the other team can't do what they want to do, or he's doing something simply positioning himself and letting the ball move through him and allocating it in different places. He's probably the most sound, complete player I feel that we have. But I'm very excited. The coach seemed to last game put a player named Weston McKennie. He plays in Italy for Juventus. He, I think, is going to create some things, but our player that, the numbers on the back of the jersey plays for AC Milan, Christian Pulisic, and he's from Hershey, Pennsylvania. He is not afraid. He's unbelievably fast. He was probably the first half of the season over in Serie A in Italy, was probably one of the top few players, unbelievably dangerous. And I think he's going to make it happen for the U.S. Other than that, Lamine Yamal, if he's healthy for Spain, will probably do something breathtaking in every game he's on the field. France is absolutely stacked and loaded with players. Their second team on the bench possibly could go finish in the top 4 or 6 teams in the World Cup. They are loaded from top to bottom, pretty much just about every position.
So that'll make it more fun when they lose.
It can happen. It can happen. Somebody I was listening to talk the other day, they open up against Senegal. And so a former French colony, and they got ousted a couple World Cups ago by Senegal. The first game, Senegal came out and beat them. It could happen again. Senegal was in a lot of controversy. You talk about corruption, etc. Senegal kind of won the African Cup of Nations. And then afterwards, there was a big, huge issue, and people had left the field and come back, and then they had to forfeit that, and it's crazy. Crazy stories. But I think the players from France are going to be incredibly exciting to watch. My favorite team probably internationally besides U.S. My wife is Swedish. They're going to be playing in the heat of Dallas and Texas and also Mexico. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up. They're going to be struggling. England has a very strong team, but they're one of those teams that sometimes doesn't go after and get it, playing not to lose, and that becomes a problem sometimes for them. But one of my favorite teams is watching. Two of my favorite players are on Belgium was Kevin De Bruyne and also this player named Doku, who is not Count Dooku, but Doku. But he plays usually left midfield. He has blazing speed, completely unpredictable when he has the ball. So if you get a chance to watch Belgium, very attacking, very exciting attacking football.
Doku plays for Belgium?
Doku plays for Belgium. And then if you're watching soccer, the opening round, not miss games, I would say France-Senegal. That's going to be unbelievable, I think. Brazil plays Morocco, opening game at Giant Stadium. That should absolutely be an incredible game. Morocco's not going to give you an inch. They're going to come at you and try to beat you, and they're all fit and can run forever. And Brazil is just so exciting and creative to watch.
Always.
Awesome. So who's your pick? Who's going to win it overall?
Justin's going to – I mean, if I'm going with my heart, I'd love it if Belgium got it done. Croatia's been in the Final Four the last few years, but I'd love to see Belgium go. But if I'm doing this from an objective perspective, I don't see somebody stopping France. I just the players on the field, I think everywhere. And if there's any injuries on some of these teams, Spain has an incredible team, and they will try to outscore people. But I don't know. I just feel like Spain might be a little vulnerable in the back. And I think I don't think anybody's going to be able to keep France out of their net. A lot of people still love Argentina. I feel like Argentina's bringing back so many players that were on the squad 4 years ago, so they have tremendous experience. But I think they're going to be a little bit, and when a game of inches in every sport professionally, right? I think they might be a little bit slow on those inches, but you never underestimate Messi's going to do something magical, as always.
Croatia had a nice run in 2018, and they ultimately lost to France in the final, unfortunately. They were a lot of fun to watch. Their style of play kind of reminded me of Italy back in the day. Have they advanced? I mean, it's 8 years later now, but have they revamped? Have they advanced to the point where they're mature enough to make it back to the final?
So their midfield has one of the best players we've ever seen in Luka Modric. He played for Real Madrid for years.
Yeah.
But if he's not 40, he's pushing 40.
Yeah, he's a little long in the tooth for soccer.
Perisic, who's I think over 40.
Yeah.
They have a third midfielder named Kovacic. He's I think 38, and then a young guy in the midfield. I don't know if that age is going to work out. There's incredible experience in that team, has incredible heart. They're good at the back too. They might be lacking the players, the striker, the two strikers up front to score, but it's unbelievable. I mean, when you look at some of these teams that are so great, I want to say that Croatia has, I think it's like maybe 6 or 8 million people, and yet they're making it to the World Cup final. Some of these European countries, Senegal's another one of those. It's not an incredible population.
I think every kid in Senegal plays soccer. I never met anybody from Senegal that didn't play soccer, and I met a few guys from there.
But if we're talking about a country that, I mean, Nigeria, I want to say is like 250 million, I think, and yet Senegal's beating them. I think I can't remember the number, less than 10 million, I think. So you never know where it's going to come from. Yeah, Croatia has an incredible history of doing amazing things in soccer. But
so I didn't hear about it. You say France. If you had to put money on it,
France. Sorry?
If you had to put money on it, it would be France.
Yeah. And it's always good. I mean, England gave us this game. Thankfully, I forgot to grab myself a beverage, and I saw the rabbi, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. So I ran downstairs, and in honor of England, I'm drinking out of my USA glass, but I'm drinking a Boddington ale.
Boddingtons.
But England won it once in 1966, and they always talk about it coming back home. And I think the rest of the world likes it the moment that it doesn't come back home.
So the other thing that really got me into watching soccer was I started watching Wrexham.
Started watching what?
The Wrexham documentary.
Oh, yeah.
And you become in love with the town and hear these people. This is and how they save everything. I haven't watched it in years, but I watched the first 2 seasons. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. And those stories are making people are more interesting. I mean, that DJ Watt, I think, is part owner in a team over in the Premier League. So the world's getting smaller, right? People are exposed. We have access to everything. But yeah, I mean, I watched a game, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Manchester City was playing Bournemouth, right. and you read the stats the day after something. I mean, there was only, I think, like 14,000 people at the game. This is like the highest level of professional soccer. But I don't even know if that stadium holds more than 14,000 people. And they're at their highest level. So it's interesting. There are these small towns, and it's a cultural thing there. And, it is pretty amazing. I think it's a beautiful game. It's probably I do love the NCAA basketball tournament. Next to the World Cup, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, we love it too.
But Judge,
all right,
come on over. We'll drink some beers, have some food, and watch a World Cup game. You're invited, you and Justin.
All right. Well, we'll put that on the agenda. We look forward to having you back. I think we'll, We've been here almost 2 hours already. I think it's time for us to move on. I'll probably edit and resend out this and put a soccer episode and a basketball episode and separate them so
Sure.
that you're not an hour in and people turn it off after 45 minutes and never get to you. So
If
I'll
you want
probably
us
do that.
a short, truncated version for 10 or 15 minutes to give you an update in the future on one of your future situations, we
Okay.
can certainly do that and arrange for that.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right.
Mark,
Nice to
thanks
have
for
you.
coming on. Are you headed to the Lyceum tonight?
I'm gonna be watching the Knicks and take Game 3, right? Tonight, 8:30.
Absolutely. I'll be there in a little while. I have to meet Carlo at 7:30.
Let's do it. Perfect. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me, Judge.
Thanks. Leave your computer on with the program up.
Oh, yeah.
Because it takes a while for it to update.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Will
Thanks.
do. Take care.
Bye. Bye. There you go.
Awesome.
That was a great episode.
A lot of fun.
All right.
Look at that. We we talked about soccer for almost an hour. Who would have thunk
an
it?
hour. Who would have thunk it? All right, Justin. See you next week.
All right, Judge. Thanks again for having me. We'll see
All
you
right.
next week. Maybe we'll be world champs.
Maybe we will.